Okay, students, for the site project B, I'm not going to give you a video on a step-by-step instruction. So you're going to have the handout as far as the step-by-step instructions. So part one handout just kind of gives you an idea of the overall um, project with bearings and distances, coordinates. So you can go ahead and draw your property lines. It shows you the feature lines that we need to insert, the alignments, and then all the break lines and points to create your surfaces. And then part two of the handouts gives you the three corridors we need to create with that particular criteria, depending on what's needed for each corridor, which has its own alignment, its own assembly with these sub-assemblies. So you should pretty much be able to do everything on your own. So there's only a couple of things that I want to cover, specifically step number 2 and step number 8. So in doing everything, once again, I think you should be able to accomplish the project on your own based on what you learned on module 2 and site project A. So really the only thing I want to clarify a little bit is step number 2 when it says to create the surface. And specifically, when we create the surface and define the surface with break lines and AutoCAD blocks, you need to make sure you do not include the horizontal alignments as break lines. What I mean by that is you're going to get a file like this. This is what you're going to start with. And we already know to create the surface, you're going to go create the surface. We're going to name it existing ground and set your style and everything accordingly. But then what I mean by that step is to not include the horizontal alignments as these right in here. So if I expand EG and then the existing ground and definition, when you go in and define break lines, pretty much like what we've done in the past projects and hit OK, what I'm telling you is to not include everything here, because what's going to happen is also going to include the horizontal alignments. And we don't want to do that, because what's going to happen is these are at a zero elevation. And if we do that and I hit enter, you're going to notice it's going to tin or triangulate all the way to the bottom alignment. So we need to make sure we don't do that. So then that way the alignment is defined correctly. So we just need to make sure we don't include that in our definition. So I'm going to take off the existing break lines. I'm going to delete that. Okay, just to kind of show you the way it should be done. Okay, so what I mean by only the break lines, you're going to right click and add that data. Okay, and you can do it from this view where you're only selecting this information, not this information. Or if you do it from this view, you can do that too. Just need to make sure you turn off the layers of these, because those are not to be included as part of the break line definition. That way you only have the surface of this data, not this data down here. Okay. And then on the next step, what's going to happen is that you're going to have some feature lines. So the feature lines, you're going to insert them. You're going to insert them at a 0, 0 coordinate. And you're going to set these elevations on your own at these points. So at each one of these points, you need to determine the elevation, and that's going to be about 5 feet above existing ground. So to figure out the elevation, like at this point, for example, I can do it certain ways. I can do an ID command and ID this contour at this point. The contour is at 3618. Here it's at 3616. So in here, it's about 3617, 17 plus 5, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So when I edit my feature line in here, then I need to make sure and set that elevation at about 3852, because that way it'll be about 5 feet above existing ground. So this is, I'm sorry, 3618. This one is 3616. So 3617 is approximately here. So the elevation you need to set for your feature line will be about 3622 at that point. And you kind of have to do that at each point, one of these, so that way you'll be about 5 feet above existing ground. Everything else is pretty much the way you've done it. Make sure you do all your assignment and then submit for a grade. Good luck.